everybody, my name is Caitlin and you are watching Zombie Eats Books. So I read a few books in January and the beginning of February. They're all pretty short, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out there before I lose them and I don't remember what the books were about. So the first book is The Eyre Affair by Jasper Fforde. I believe Jasper Fforde is a Welsh author, and this was published somewhere around 2001, something like that. So this is the first book in a series. It takes place in an alternate England in 1985, and the main character is a literary detective, and her name is Thursday Next. And she has a time traveler for a father and kind of a mad scientist for an uncle, and she's just a very straightforward, refreshing, extremely intelligent character. There's a lot of literary references in here and a lot of humor. She's basically investigating a case that brings her into contact with the characters from Jane Eyre, thus the title, and I really enjoyed that part because she actually got to interact with them. And yeah, it was just a really fun, enjoyable book. I don't know if I'm going to be reading the second one just because I didn't find it to be much more than that, and I kind of want to read something that really, evokes emotion in me. So I don't know, maybe on a rainy day sometime when I'm feeling bored, I might pick up the second one, which I do own. So we'll have to see. The next book that I read was Bindi by Nettie. Nettie Okorafor is an African-American author, and this was published in 2015. So this is a sci-fi, and it is about a young woman who decides to go against the wishes of her family and go to college. She's really brilliant, and she is very different from the other students because culturally there are just huge differences. And like, for instance, she wears this paste on her face and her hair. I think it has like spiritual properties and maybe other cultural significance. I can't quite remember, but that makes her stand out. And her people, like, they do not really venture from their world, their little corner of their world, and so it's kind of unusual to see someone from her planet among other people. So she stands out for sure, and the book ends up being kind of a coming-of-age story and a test of her character and her wits and her intelligence, and it was really good. It gave me kind of the same feels as The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, because it kind of ended up being about bridging the differences between different people and finding commonalities instead of seeing those glaring differences as barriers. So yeah, I really, really like this. If you like sci-fi, definitely pick it up, because I am definitely going to be reading more from this author. The next book that I read was The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. Oh, okay. This was published in 1963. And it's fantastic, and I don't know what I've been doing with my life, not reading James Baldwin before now. But this author, he was a social critic, he was a poet, he was a playwright, he wrote novels and also essays, which is what this is. He writes about race. He writes about racism. He writes about the effects that racism has on society as a whole, on the psyche of the individual. It's really, really well done. And this guy, he writes with a knife. Like, he is exacting and he does not spare your feelings, which I really, really appreciated and loved. He also does a really good job of conveying the complexity of his own emotions regarding race and the complexity of his emotions regarding religion, because he grows up in this religious background and becomes a leader of the church, but turns out that he doesn't genuinely feel that he's doing it for the right reasons. And I thought that part of his life was super interesting, and I decided that I would try reading Go Tell It on the Mountain, which is kind of an autobiography, and I'm hoping it touches more on that. Um, I think I mean, it's fiction, I think, but it's loosely an autobiography as well. So yeah, very excited to read more James Baldwin. I instantly bought Go Tell It on the Mountain, actually, after I finished this one. And last but not least, I also read Signs Preceding the End of the World by Yuri Herrera, and this was translated by Lisa Dillman. Yuri Herrera is a Mexican author, and this was first published in 2009, but then it was published again in like 2014 or 2015. This is such a good book. Another short one, but it packs a punch, and it feels complete too. It doesn't cram too many ideas or anything in there, although it does have a lot of ideas and themes. So it's about a young woman, and she wants to travel across the border into the United States from Mexico to deliver a message to her brother. And this message is from her grandmother, or maybe her aunt. I don't know, some kind of older maternal figure. And so before she does that, she knows that she has to talk to some people to help secure her safety, and she, encounters some challenges along the way. And I keep going back to the word otherworldly, because that's what I felt like when I was reading this book. Is it just felt otherworldly, like she was really traveling through the underworld, and had these challenges presented to her, and it was a test of her character, and I don't know, it just felt like myth almost, and that's the thing that I love the most about this book. But it also brings up really important topics, and it addresses human barriers and actual physical barriers, and understanding other people despite not speaking the same language, and just being human, basically. Yeah, this is a beautiful book. So you should read this, and then you should also read this for sure. These were gorgeous. And I think this book also has The Transmigration of Bodies is another book out by Yuri Herrera. I don't know if it's supposed to be a sequel or if it's just another book by him, but I definitely ordered that as well. So thanks a lot for watching. Let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought about them, if you did, and what you're reading right now. Thanks. Bye-bye.